So when I was young, it was nothing it was just normal for me to go up to the corner bar with my dad, and he would put me up at the bar, and the waitress would bring over a couple of shots of milk, and I would do a couple of shots of milk while he sat there, and he drank his PBR or his Crown Royal, and conversated with his friends, and I never really thought much about it. I was only 6, 7, 8 years old at that time, but that was normal to me. I was born into this family that was, they never broke the chain. It was normal for me to grow up in a household that there was alcohol, there was cussing, there was swearing. I was the third brother of 4, and I always said that my younger brother always had he got away with murder because he was young enough to where when they were picking, they didn't pick on him because he was too young. So I was the one that was sent out into the yard to pick up bumblebees and do all their stupid ideas like jumping off the balcony with a trash bag as a parachute. I think it made me stronger for who I am today, but it was normal. I never thought anything different. Explaining my childhood to other people now, I say that it was different, but back then it wasn't. And I don't know if it is different. There's a lot of kids in our community, in my community, that live the same life as me. It was just normal. Drugs and alcohol and everything that I was surrounded by was that. So of course that's what I did. At a younger age, I got mixed up in stuff that I regret, that I wish I never did, but I did it. I drank, in junior high and did drugs, and it didn't really change until I got into high school. In high school, I started to, the pool was bigger. I was fishing in a different pond, and I met people that were different. I had the want inside to want something more. In work co-op class one day, we had a Navy recruiter come in, and it was my class. There was 15 of us in there, and halfway through the thing, my buddy turns around and taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you think about what?" He said, "Well, let's go talk to him." So we went and talked to him that week, and by the week's end, we had signed up for the Navy. 3 of us went in together, and I remember back then I was saying, this is my fresh start. I'm gonna do something different. I'm not gonna end up in jail, in and out of jail, or in the prison system like my brother or friends and family that were. This is my out. So I joined. Fast forward through my Navy years, I got out, and that is the defining moment in my life, whenever I got out of the Navy. I met what I call today is my first disciple. I met a wonderful woman that was church, that was brought up in the church, that for whatever reason she's seen something in me, and I was blessed, truly blessed. She walked a walk beside me, and it wasn't easy by any means. I know I wasn't easy to live with to begin with. I don't know if I'm easy to live with now, but I know now that I was still an infant in my stage of Christianity, but I was saved. She walked me through the steps, and I ended up being saved. I wasn't all feet in, or I wasn't walking the walk yet. I was still doing things I shouldn't do, but at that point I was doing better. And it wasn't until I started coming to Smizer. We were sitting in our assigned seats there in the front row, 5th pew in, and church service had ended, and we stood up, and here comes Vicki Hostetter, and she said, "So you guys are going to be there Tuesday night, right? 6 o'clock or whatever time it was." And we were like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "The discipleship class. You guys are coming, right?" And I remember looking at Kelly, and she looked at me, and I was like, "What excuse are we going to give her to why we can't come?" And then she said something about food, and I'm like, "Well, Kelly," she said, "food, they're going to feed us," and in that class, the people in that class have changed my life forever. I've found family, I've found friends, and I got deep in that class that I've never gotten that deep with anybody in my life, and it's all glory to God. This was His reason, this was his plan. For whatever reason, I grew up the way I did, but I think it's for what I'm doing today. I went through the discipleship class. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what we're supposed to do as Christians, and I think that's why I'm doing what I am today. You don't know that love. An unchurched person doesn't know the love of a father of a 12-year-old boy calling you up and saying, "Hey, my son wants you to baptize him this weekend. What do you think?" You don't know what that love is until you feel that love. or until it comes into your life. And that's the power of God, and you know, He is everything. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. I want to be the person that is going to break the chain in somebody's life. Somebody broke my chain, my wife broke it. You know, she showed me that there was something different in life, and that's what I'm doing today. Chris Wheeler, and that's my story.